All right, everybody, welcome to the Otherppl Show. I'm Brad Listi. This is the Otherppl Show. This is the Otherppl Show. How many times should I say it before it sinks in, finally? Happy holidays. Happy aftermath of the holidays. I hope you survived. I hope that wasn't too painful. You got through it. Maybe you're in the airport right now. Don't forget to subscribe to this show wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also subscribe on YouTube. Follow the Otherppl Show on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Bluesky. Subscribe to my weekly email newsletter over at bradlisti.substack.com and join the Otherppl Patreon. Make me a happy man. Patreon.com/otherpplpod. Help keep this show going into the future. So here we are careening toward the end of 2023. 2024 promises to be stimulating. It was a very big year for this show, 2023 was. 134 episodes by my count over the course of 52 weeks. I think that's right. Something like that. Lots of episodes, lots of hard work. So I figure it's worth celebrating here at the end of the year with a series of special year-end episodes, wherein I am sharing news with you of the best/most downloaded episodes, conversations of the year. In the preceding episode, part 1 of this series, I broke down the top 5 most downloaded Kraftwerk episodes, and then I am doing a breakdown of the 15 most popular author interviews. And in part 1, I did 15 through 11. Today is part 2. And I'm going to do the next 5. And then you're going to get part 3, where I do the top 5 most popular author interviews of 2023. And then on top of that, on New Year's Eve, I'm going to share with you my personal favorite books of the year, my favorite reads of 2023. So I think that sums it up. If you did not listen to part 1 of this series, you should probably listen to it before you listen to this. But it's up to you. I mean, it's your call. It's your life. So today, I'm going to be doing numbers 10 through 6, and we will begin at number 10. The 10th most popular, most downloaded author interview of 2023 is episode 825, my conversation with Clancy Martin, author of How Not to Kill Yourself, a portrait of the suicidal mind, available from Pantheon Books. And incidentally, How Not to Kill Yourself, an excellent holiday read. It's a great book. It's a good stocking stuffer. How Not to Kill Yourself is Clancy Martin's chronicle of his multiple suicide attempts. It offers an intimate depiction of the suicidal mind, and it is a very powerful book, very moving book that combines memoir with critical inquiry to brilliant effect. And ultimately it argues that the desire to take one's own life, much like other self-destructive impulses, is almost always temporary and avoidable. Clancy Martin is the acclaimed author of a novel called How to Sell, as well as numerous books on philosophy. He has also translated works by Friedrich Nietzsche, Soren Kierkegaard, and other philosophers. He is a Guggenheim Fellow, or he was. I mean, if you're a Guggenheim Fellow once, are you always a Guggenheim Fellow? I don't know. It's a question perhaps for another podcast, but Clancy Martin has been a Guggenheim Fellow. He is a professor of philosophy at the University of Missouri in Kansas City and at Ashoka University in New Delhi in India. He is the survivor of more than 10 suicide attempts and is a recovering alcoholic. What a conversation with Clancy Martin. Here is an outtake from it in episode 825 back in March. Well, one of the things that you write in the book that I think frames the entire book is this line, "I've lived nearly all my life with two incompatible ideas in my head. I wish I were dead, and I'm glad my suicides failed."
Yeah,
that gets to the heart of it, right?
Yeah, that's at the very heart of the book. It's funny you point that out, because when I initially wrote that, my editor said, well, I mean, Clancy, this makes no sense. You can't have both of those thoughts in your head at the same time. And she's obviously a much more rational person than I am, because I thought, well, no, this makes complete sense. This is kind of human nature and the way that we are. We're so full of contradictions and so full of, deeply held incompatible beliefs. But for me, it was a state in a way with which I was already very familiar because of the way divorce with children works. I've been divorced twice and married 3 times, and I have children with all 3 of my wives. And when you divorce and you have children, there's all of this regret, all of this, if only I'd done this differently, if only, all the mistakes that you made, and you look back and you think, oh, I have so many things I could have done differently and done better. But then at the same time, now you've remarried and you have these new children who wouldn't exist if it weren't for the fact that you had gone through that divorce and made all of those mistakes, so you can, on the one hand, look back and think, my God, I should have done so many different things differently. I was so stupid. And on the other hand, I'm so grateful that I made all of those mistakes, because these new kids wouldn't exist unless I had done so. So to me, this kind of deep irrationality is very familiar, and it probably shouldn't surprise us. I mean, I think that the closer we try to investigate our own belief structures, the more we're going to find all these kinds of contradictions. And it just so happens in my case that most days I'm very, very happy to be alive and very, very grateful. But then also at the same time, there can come up this desire to just end it all, which I recognize as incompatible with that happiness and that gratitude. And yet that recognition that it's incompatible doesn't make it go away.
Okay, that was Clancy Martin, episode 825, the 10th most downloaded author interview of 2023 here on the Otherppl podcast. Once again, Clancy's book is called How Not to Kill Yourself. It is available from Pantheon, and it is excellent. It's an epic book and an epic conversation with Clancy Martin. So that takes us to number 9, the 9th most downloaded author interview of 2023. It is episode 833, my conversation with Hannah Pittard, author of the memoir entitled We Are Too Many, available from Henry Holt and Company. Hannah Pittard is the author of 4 novels. She is a professor of English at the University of Kentucky, and We Are Too Many is quite a book. It is a harrowing account of her marriage and subsequent divorce after her husband had an affair with her best friend, Trish. We Are Too Many is structurally innovative. As a memoir, it blends fact and fiction, sometimes recreating exchanges and scenes from Hannah's life with extreme accuracy, and other times diving headlong into speculation. It is radically honest. It is painful to read. It is often funny and self-knowing. It is a book about the ugly, unfiltered parts of the female experience, as well as the happier possibilities inherent in pressing reset and starting over after a major personal catastrophe. So here we go. Number 9, the 9th most downloaded episode author interview of 2023, Hannah Petard, episode 833. Here is an outtake from our conversation back in April. And it's funny. It is. I mean, I know it's painful and like awkward, but it's like funny on the page. I don't know how funny it was in real life, but there's something funny about it and something funny about her. It just so happens that she also betrayed you and is like amoral, or some part of her is amoral and like just detached.
Yeah, detached, right? Like, but what I love about that scene, and this is what I mean, like imbuing a character, okay, maybe not humanity in that scene, but I did learn from her, don't put a purse on a bar table, like on top of a bar top. Like, and that's actually a really good lesson, because it spills other people's drinks. And I loved the way that she would actually say to a dude, like, stop jabbing me, man. Like you're actually jabbing me. I loved that about her, and she really did teach me never to order a drink you can't walk away from. Like, if you're in a bad situation, if you're in a like stupid conversation, you can always leave. And so I wanted to show that, and to show like how much I was still in the throes of her kind of charm, while also showing like, who the fuck does that? But then for me, who the fuck takes it?
All right, that was Hannah Petard. And once again, her memoir is called We Are Too Many. That was a fascinating conversation. Also a funny conversation. Hannah has a great sense of humor, especially considering the subject matter of that book. She has some wit and good dark humor. It was the 9th most downloaded interview of 2023. So this then brings us to number 8. Number 8, the 8th most downloaded episode of 2023, and it is episode 816, my conversation with best-selling author Rebecca Makkai. We were talking about her novel entitled I Have Some Questions for You, which is available from Viking Books. I Have Some Questions for You is about a woman named Bodie Kane, who as an adult in midlife returns to her New Hampshire boarding school, her alma mater, where she went to high school. She is there to teach a course, but while she is there, she is confronted with memories of her time there, her youth, her unhappy youth, and in particular, the murder of her former roommate. This is a riveting book, a total page-turner. It speaks to the true crime genre and that whole craze, and it is also a stirring investigation of collective memory and what that entails. And it's about a woman reckoning with her past. Rebecca Mackay's previous novel, The Great Believers, was a finalist for both the Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Award. Her other books are the novels The Borrower and The 100-Year House, as well as a story collection called Music for Wartime. Rebecca is a 2022 Guggenheim Fellow, yet another Guggenheim Fellow. And she is on the MFA faculties of the University of Nevada, Reno at Lake Tahoe, and Northwestern University. She is the artistic director of Story Studio Chicago, and it was great to meet her and to talk with her in episode 816. Here we are in conversation back in February.
And when she starts talking, that for me was like, okay, I see this, I'm seeing how this all comes together. And I really did not know what she was going to say until she started talking. I knew what had happened, but I did not know what pieces of the puzzle she was going to have.
Really?
And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's interesting to me, because that's pretty late in the game, and you're drafting this thing, and then that must have been a thrill for you as a writer.
It was, yeah. That she's the person who, all these things that we've been wondering about Thalia, about the victim. She was up close. She saw this happen. She knows whether there was a relationship with the music teacher. She knows what other men were in Thalia's life. She experienced a lot of these things firsthand. And so basically it was the stuff that I knew about Thalia. It was the stuff that I knew had happened but this character kind of emerging to be like, okay, here's what I saw, here's what I know. That just felt to me like everything clicking into place.
Okay, everybody, there we have it. Number 8, coming in at number 8. My conversation with Rebecca Makkai, author of the novel I Have Some Questions for You, the 8th most downloaded author interview of 2023 here on the Otherppl podcast. So this brings us to what? Number 7. Number 7 on the list, the 7th most popular author interview of 2023 is episode 846, my conversation with Lori Moore, the great Lori Moore. Her debut on the Otherppl podcast, a real thrill to get the chance to speak with her. And we were talking about her latest novel entitled I Am Homeless, If This Is Not My Home. It is available from Knopf. It is Lori Moore's first novel since A Gate at the Stairs, and it is metaphysical. How do I describe it? Experimental, risky, creatively risky, meditative. It's about love and death and grief and what it means to be haunted by the past, the historical past and the personal past. I had a very interesting conversation with Lori, and just so exciting to have her here on the show. So that conversation is in the number 7 slot. Here is an outtake from it. We spoke back in June. You are not shy about depicting the physicality of death and Lily's condition. Mm-hmm. Like, you really don't spare the reader anything. It's you know, she's rotting. She's got, you know, the breath of death. You know, her skin is translucent. You know, all this stuff that goes along with dying, which is astonishing. It's one of these things that, especially in Western culture, we sort of don't see unless it's really immediately upon us. But this is what happens, and your book does not flinch from that.
Right. Yeah, when people get sick and are dying or are in hospice, you can see them on their way to that unfortunate condition. And I just kept going in my mind what I imagined would happen to a body that is both trying to stay alive and trying to die. And there's some back and forth. Sometimes some moments she looks better than others. But it's also supposed to be a testament to Finn's great love for her. That none of this stuff is really getting in the way.
Okay, there we have it. That was Lori Moore, the 7th most downloaded author interview of 2023 here on the Otherppl show. Lori's latest novel, once again, is called I Am Homeless, If This Is Not My Home. So here we are at number 6. The 6th most downloaded author interview of 2023 is episode 834, my conversation with Dave Eggers. He put out a book this year called The Eyes and the Impossible, available in a limited edition hardcover, if that's still available, from McSweeney's, and then in a traditional hardcover from Knopf Books for young readers. The Eyes and the Impossible is illustrated beautifully by Sean Harris. The Eyes and the Impossible is an endearing story about a dog named Johannes, who unwittingly becomes a hero to a park full of animals. It's a story about friendship and about beauty and freedom. And it's about running very, very fast. Dave Eggers is the author of many books, including the bestsellers The Every, The Monk of Mocha, The Circle, A Hologram for the King, and a heartbreaking work of staggering genius. His work has been nominated for the National Book Award, the Pulitzer Prize, and the National Book Critics Circle Award. He is the founder of McSweeney's, an independent publishing company based in San Francisco, and is co-founder of 826 National, a network of educational centers around the country offering free tutoring to kids of all backgrounds. It was great to meet Dave. This was his first time on the Otherppl show. Here is an outtake from that conversation in episode 834, which aired back in May. This is Dave Eggers.
So after writing this, I thought, like, well, why write any other way? You know, I struggle with it all the time because there are forms of storytelling where you do need a more sober, not to say staid, but kind of a tonally neutral way of writing where you're getting out of the way of the story. Like writing nonfiction, usually I'm trying to just disappear as a narrator and let the story emerge. And I do think that that makes for good reading, and it is the right way tonally to tell certain stories. But as a writer, it's a lot less fun, you know,
Right.
when you're stripping away the flourishes and you're holding yourself to just the most kind of non-demonstrative writing, or, you know, you're refusing any flourishes. So it's tough, you know. I don't know if you struggle with the same thing, but I do find that when you find the right vehicle for a voice like this, like it really feels like home, you know. Like, why I only want to be there. I want to be able to find that kind of jet stream every time.
All right, there we go. That was Dave Eggers in at number 6. His latest book is called The Eyes and the Impossible, available from Knopf Books for young readers. There might be some limited edition copies available from McSweeney's in that beautiful hardcover that they did with like the wooden cover and the die cut and the whole thing. I think it's called the die cut. It's beautiful. I have one. So that was it. The 6th most downloaded author interview of 2023 here on the Otherppl show. So where does that leave us? We are now down to the final 5, the top 5, the 5 most popular conversations of the year with you, the audience, the listeners. I will be sharing the top 5 tomorrow in the 3rd installment of this special year-end series, Best of 2023, here on the Otherppl show. And once again, I will be ending the year in an official manner on New Year's Eve with a new episode in which I share with you my favorite books of 2023. Are you ready for that? I think you are. If not, you have some time. Talk to someone. Reach out. It's almost 2024. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Are you ready? Doesn't matter if we're ready. It's coming anyway. It's going to happen anyway. That's the way life goes. We just got to do it. I will talk to you tomorrow. Stay tuned.